Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the AEW Dynamite review for the 24th of November 2021. Good stuff on the show, weak stuff on the show. Thanksgiving Eve, you're not going to get much. Anyway, so CM Punk makes his entrance for the opener. MJF interrupts him. He walks to the ring, mic in hand, starts to speak, but he's drowned up by chants. And then he said that Punk had ignored him last week like a little, female dog. He said that Punk's famous for pipe bomb promos, and that's his best moment, but every moment MJF is in his best moment. And he says Punk looks like a meth addict and calls him ugly. Punk was asked all the young talent he wanted to wrestle in AEW. Didn't mention anyone, he mentioned everyone except MJF, and that's because he doesn't want any MJF. MJF said he'd finish Punk quicker than his UFC career. Punk can drop pipe bombs all he wants because he's MJF and he drops nukes. Punk said he's disappointed in MJF. He thought the whole time MJF stood for mind jealous fan, and then Punk didn't bring up MJF in interviews because he didn't want to feed his ego. Basically said that MJF probably has a poster of Punk on his wall. Last week he shut MJF up without even saying a word. MJF thinks he's a revolutionary, but in reality he's a less famous version of The Miz. Youch. Anyway, MJF started to speak again, but he's interrupted by Miz chants. He then said Punk is just nostalgia, and he's been kissing tail ever since he came there. MJF accused Punk of getting soft and saying he may as well come out here and preach hustle, loyalty, and respect. He then said Punk wouldn't come back because he's terrified. Deep down, he knows that he's only ever been second best, no matter whether it's Cena or Triple H. I'm better than you, and you know it. Punk then said he's been doing this for a long time. He sold out MSG when MJF was making out with Rosie O'Donnell, which that's the line of the night. MJF said he'll make the New York Times again, but it'll be for obituaries this time, and Punk said if it ticks MJF off that he picked Darby Allin over MJF. MJF's too worried about four pillars without realizing he's been replaced by Britt Baker. Punk's fine with being number 2 because Chicago's the second city, and MJF will only ever be number 1 if we wait around long enough for Tony Khan to have a daughter for him to marry. He's going to punch him, and MJF removes his jacket and scarf, teasing a fight, but then rolls out and heads to the ramp. This leads to Punk against QT Marshall with Nick Camarado and Aaron Solo. Not a fan of this. Went too long. Punk out-wrestles Marshall early, including not falling for a distraction. Camarado and Solo head to the back. Marshall gets control after taking Punk over in the corner, but Punk quickly makes a comeback and clotheslines Marshall on the floor, where he landed in a driving clothesline ahead of a commercial. Once back into the ring, Marshall hits a Liger bomb for near fall. He then taught Punk, who came back with a high kick. Punk then lands top rope elbow and calls for GTS, nailing it for the win. Christian Cage and Jurassic Express are backstage. Christian said they have all the momentum in the world and that his confidence is sky high. Jurassic Express is the top-rated tag team in AEW, and Christian's going to make sure they win the championship. I smell a turn coming. Eddie Kingston was eating backstage and shouted out John Moxley. He interrupts by Daniel Garcia and 2.0. They said Kingston isn't hungry anymore and offered to help because you couldn't help your friend Moxley. Kingston exploded, and a dozen people or so had to hold him back. And then we go into more enhancement talent stuff. The Gun Club, Billy Gunn, Colton, and with Austin Gunn defeat Bear Country, Barrett Boulder, and Bear Bronson. Not sure why this belongs on national television, but hey, whatever. Gun Club attack before the bell. Bear Country takes over. Boulder hits a press slam. Fight goes to the outside. Gun Club sends Bear Country into the barricade and stairs. Colton hits Colt 45 out of nowhere for the win. I guess that's good to get a younger gun on TV. But anyway, after the match, Darby Allin's music played. Sting comes out. Austin charges up the ramp at Sting, but cut off with a huge tackle from Allen. Sting then chases the Gun Club off and stands pretty tall. AEW Battle for the Belts is announced for the 8th of January in Charlotte. Good place for it. Although, from what I hear, it's going to be a 1-hour show. Adam Cole and Bobby Fish are backstage. Cole is angry. He said that if Fish were best friends, then the real best friends walked up. Cole runs down the team one by one and offered up a match between Fish and Cassidy and Yuta. Team Taz and Leo Rush, Dante Martin are about to sign a deal, but Taz gets impatient and Rush tries to end it. Dante, however, stops Rush and signs. Team Taz celebrates. Britt Baker says that Jamie Hayter would win her match and the tournament for the TBS Championship, which leads into Thunder Rosa defeating Jamie Hayter. Long tie-up going at the start. Hayter sends Rosa to the floor. And Hayter cuts Rosa off with stomps. Rosa comes back with a bunch of strikes and sends Hayter into the barricade on the outside, and then lands a running dropkick and suplex on the floor. Rosa into the ring post ahead of a commercial break, and Rosa counters a superplex attempt, lands a missile dropkick. Hits a big backbreaker for a near fall of her own, and then tries forearms in the corner. Rosa escapes suplex and hits a Russian leg sweep. Rosa locks on the Peruvian necktie. Rebel distracts the official, and Baker breaks the holdup in the process here. Rosa then avoids a Baker super kick who hits Hayter. Rosa then dispatches Rebel and rolls Hayter up for the win. Rosa will face Jade Cargill in the semifinals of the tournament. I still think Cargill is winning. Jericho asks backstage about what's next. 2.0 and Garcia interrupt, all happy about throwing coffee in Kingston's face. Jericho advised them to cool it and made fun of one of 2.0's heads, leading to a square head chant, and then they interrupt again. He's going to knock their teeth down their throat. Not that anyone really cares about Jericho at this point. Britt Baker, Rebel, and Tony Schiavone are having a Friendsgiving backstage. Baker said that it started off poorly because Thunder Rosa won, but okay because she, meaning Baker, is still champion. Schiavone goes to the video screen reminding her that Rio never was eliminated from the Casino Battle Royal. At All Out, if Rio beats Baker on Friday, she earns a title shot. Glad to see Britt Baker getting more television time. Rio is not someone I would put her with, however. Bryan Danielson defeats Colt Cabana. Not a bad technical exchange to open up the match. Danielson hits a bunch of hard strikes. Cabana comes back with chops and jabs on a Dusty Rhodes elbow. He then goes for the flying apple. Danielson reverses it into a reverse German suplex. Follows up in the corner dropkick, and Danielson goes to the top rope. Back suplex, but Cabana fights out and lands a moonsault for near fall. Then we go for Danielson coming back and lays on repeated curve stomps, rolls over into the label lock and locked it on for submission. Looked like he knocked out one of Cabana's teeth in the process. After the commercial break, Danielson is interviewed by Schiavone in the ring. Danielson pointed out that when he debuted at All Out, he got a much different reaction. He calls the fans fickle. He said he didn't just kick Cabana's head in, he kicked his teeth out, and that was probably the line of the night. Danielson offered to kick any of the Dark Order's heads in, turns his attention to Hangman Page. Right on cue, Page's music plays and he walks out. Page and Cabana go, they're the last ones to get their heads kicked in. He offered to defend the AEW World Championship right here, right now. Danielson accused Page of trying to be cowardly by going after him after a match takes place, picks a fight with him when he's already wrestled. Page then wanted to fight and offered Danielson his first shot. Danielson slaps him and they brawled. Page goes for the buckshot lariat, but Danielson escapes the ring. Then we go video airing for Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander. AEW Rampage on the 26th, which is actually has already happened as this happens. Then we go to Eddie Kingston, Daniel Garcia, Britt Baker and Riho, Adam Cole, and Bobby Fish versus Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta. I don't know. Anyway, Dynamite on the 1st of December. Ruby Soho, Chris Statlander. I look forward to that. Raquel Black, Andrade, and FTR. Harwood, Wheeler with Tully Blanchard defeating Cody Rhodes and Death Triangle Pac and Penta and Rey Fenix with Arn Anderson. I know there are people that like this. I'm not one of them. Too many moves, and it's just here to fill time. Cody receives a majority negative reaction, and he and Dax started off. He hits the drop down right hand, and then a power slam before tossing his weight belt into the audience. The audience throws it back at him. This is a sign that they want him to go heel. Hope they don't wait too long on this. Then Pac tags in, and he and Dax trade strikes. Back suplex allows Dax to tag in Cash, and then Pac regains control, sends Penta up for diving stomp, and has opportunity for a near fall. Penta then lands a thrust kick, but flatlines with a lariat before Andrade tags in. Penta then escapes to Phoenix, who hits a bunch of offense. Death Triangle hits a three-way buzzsaw kick and drop kicks on Andrade for a near fall. Cody then tags himself in and is overwhelmed by the bad guys, who got a good guy reaction in the pursuit of this. Anyway, Phoenix tags back in and hits a surfboard double cutter. He then hits a Escalera into a Rana on Andrade, and then hits a flurry of kicks on Black. Tully distracts Phoenix, allowing Black to take him down for the STO. Head of the commercial, once back, Phoenix reaches Penta for the hot tag, and then comes in with a diving crossbody. He then hits a double DDT on FTR for a backstabber on Andrade for a near fall. Pac then tagged in and lands a missile drop kick, followed by a Fosbury flop onto a pile on the outside, because we gotta have dives. Wheeler then cuts off Pac with a backbreaker, leading to a bunch of big moves. Speaking of moves, here we are. Cody then goes for a thrust kick on Andrade, but Cody kicks Pac. Everyone is down until Tully and Arn face off in the ring. Andrade associate Jose enters the ring. Tully and Arn both strike him down. FTR corners Arn, but Phoenix takes him out with a crossbody, and Penta hits a sling blade. Penta then hits a tope, and Phoenix lands a top rope crossbody on the outside. Black blinds Pac with the mist, and Andrade hits a hammerlock DDT for the win. Why they're pushing Andrade above all the other talent by giving him the win, I have no idea, but it is what it is, and not a bad show overall. For Thanksgiving night or Thanksgiving Eve, not a bad show, but certainly not massive either. Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.